I didn't have it all put together. But one thing that I had to realize early on in life is that a wise person learns from other people's mistakes. They don't create the same mistakes as others, right? You see the mistakes that others have made, and then you go ahead and go into the other direction. So let me give you an example of a mistake that I made early on. I've only ever made two big mistakes financially. The first mistake was I had a friend who told me to invest in BitConnect. I'm sure that all of you know what BitConnect is by now, and if you don't, well, I'll go ahead and tell you. BitConnect was a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme in which people would put their money and hold it in an investment for a long period of time, and they will see rapid gains. The more people that you invited into this Ponzi scheme, the more money you would earn. And then so you could see wealth being created. You can see millions of dollars almost at your fingertips, right? And so when my friend told me, hey, invest in BitConnect, my friend had put maybe $200 in. But because I was already investing, I was in college, I had a couple tens of thousands of dollars because I was also working hard while in college. I think I put about $2,000 in because I really trusted my friend. And I was like, okay, I'm going to put $2,000 in. But because my family also believes in me as an investor, and this was very, very early on in my career. Obviously, I was still in college at the time. My older brother also took my advice and he invested. I believe he put $1,000 in. And, once everything came crashing down, I believe I only was able to pull out $50 of my initial investment. So I initially lost $2,000. But I didn't just lose $2,000. Because of my integrity, because of who I am as a person, I also had to pay my brother's money back, right? I didn't want my brother to be upset with me over $1,000, and I didn't want him to be talking about it for the rest of my life. So I just gave him $1,500 because obviously, the loss of money, the loss of time, you could have invested it in multiple different areas. And so I paid him back plus interest. So I've lost even more money. That was probably like $3,500 thanks to BitConnect. Now, how else did I lose money? I told you that I had to learn over a period of 6 years how to really utilize the stock market. And I don't know what it is about $2,000, but you all know that when I started at 18 years old, I started with $2,000 in the stock market. Why? I don't know. I had 10 grand. I decided to put 2 grand in. I was 18. And I was in college and I was also playing football. So, I couldn't just run up the bag working. I had to just put what I could in the stock market at the time. So we started off with day trading. We started off with swing trading. We started off with all these different types of trading, stock, growth stocks, dividend stocks, all that stuff, just analyzing the markets and understanding it. To be honest, I was pretty good at investing. I was making a lot of money year over year. And eventually I had about $7,000 in the stock market by my junior year, or was it my senior year? It was probably my junior year. And so in my junior year, I started options trading and I was very successful. I made $700 in a day on an Apple call option going up. And so when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, whoa, if I can make $700 in a day, I may never have to really work again. Imagine doing that 5 days a week. What does that look like? And then doing that consistently. So let me just do some quick math. 700, 14, 2,800. What is that? About 3,500 a week, right? So about 14,000 a month. I think that's good money. I'm not going to lie to you and say that that's not good money. I think $14,000 a month, if you can make $700 a day, not including the weekends, is good money. So, obviously you don't want to stop. You want to keep going. But with options trading, there's only about 5% or maybe 3% of people who are really successful options trading. And so what happened? Well, there was a downturn for me. There was a downside for me where I had lost $4,000 options trading, and then trying to recoup that back, trying to get all the investment back. But eventually you stop trying because you're a wise person and you say, you know what? I'm not going to continue to make this mistake. If it goes up, it goes up. If it goes down, it goes down. Now, as a dividend investor, which I am, and a little bit of a growth investor, I now can make $700, $500 in a day just off of growth and dividends alone. So I have so far surpassed and removed myself from the options trading life, the day trading life, the swing trading life. Although I was a successful day trader, although I was a successful swing trader, those are not my forte, right? My forte is dividend investing and growth stock market investing. And so understanding that, taking it slow and steady always wins the race, right? You got to start using those long heard verbiages that actually made sense and actually are true and are true to this day. And so slow and steady wins the race. And so I started to go slow, I started to go steady, and I started to win. I couldn't imagine seeing growth of 500, 700 in a day. I couldn't imagine seeing growth of $1,000 in a day. I couldn't imagine my stock market portfolio just going up 15% in a day. It's ridiculous. But you know what? It's because I was slow. It's because I was steady. It's because I now took the time to grow as a person. Why did I tell you about BitConnect, and why did I tell you about the options trading mistakes that I made? Well, it's because we're all human. But the smarter humans learn from other people's mistakes. So when I tell you not to do options trading, it's not because you wouldn't be good at it. It's not because I don't believe that you'll be very successful. I know people who are earning well over six figures who still options trade to this day. But they're not options trading their life savings. They're options trading with like $25 for fun. It's like gambling for them. Right? They're not going to bet the farm or the moon on an options trade. But you know what happens when you continue to do something like that for a long period of time? Eventually something will come up, a news will break, something will happen to where you feel like this thing or this item or this stock, this business is going to go to the moon and back, and you're just going to dump a whole lot of money into that investment. And when you do that, you may or may not lose. You may or may not win. And I don't want you to be in that situation. So when I saw Facebook crashing because of Meta, I didn't do an options trade on it because I didn't know when it would go back up. But I knew it would go back up because I knew Facebook had a whole lot of money, and I knew that they would fulfill their promise. And even if it wasn't in 10 years, it would get completed. So when I put thousands of dollars into Meta, and it eventually went up over the next 7 months by 160%, I was not surprised. But if I had bet on it going up in just a week's time, I may have lost all my money. So it's better to invest in companies for the long haul, at least for me, than it is to invest for the short term, assuming that people would put their money in right then and there, as if they don't have anything else to do, or as if they're watching the markets as much as I am. So for me, this is just the wake-up call that I think a lot of people need, to understand that you are not alone. You're not the only one who's lost money before. You're not the first person to invest and hear horror stories. But if you ever want to get a place of financial freedom, financial independence, if you ever want to be able to buy a house with money that you've invested in the stock market, if you ever want your dividend income to surpass what you're making at your day job, then you need to invest. You need to have financial literacy, and you need to watch some of those videos that I posted earlier on financial freedom and financial independence in order to get a grasp and an understanding of those things. So, I post every single day at 8 a.m. daily. I thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.